Good morning. My name's Casey Geller. I got involved with the creation of this course. And we created this course for people who have not had time over the summer to take any of the training that was available. There's quite a bit that was and is. We're 2 weeks out as of this recording date. So I felt it was pretty important for us to at least get some of the basic essential items down so that everybody could be prepared for the fall semester as best as possible. Please note this is not a one and done kind of situation. This is an ongoing process, continuous process. Some of you may want to just get some more clarity on some of the items you've already looked at. That's fine. This course is open to any instructor in the College of Health and Human Services. And so that course name is CHS Online Essentials. And you'll see that on the home page that one of the big things that's very important for students going into an online class is, all right, I'm logged in, now what do I do? And so I typically use a video like this or a screencast to walk them through what's in the course, what's expected, how to do well, where to find things like that. And I also kind of talk a little bit about myself to start the process of hopefully creating a community and personalizing the online class as much as we possibly can. So when you come into the class, this is kind of like looking in multiple mirrors, but you'll click on this button and it'll take you to this particular screencast that I'm doing right now. And so this is one way to get people started. You can do a written kind of instruction list if you don't want to do a screencast, but I find this to be the most effective for students because most of them seem to respond to visual stimuli. So, and I put other things on here. There's a welcome class. This course is self-guided, so there are no due dates or anything like that. It's up to you to take on each of the tasks and get them built in your course to your satisfaction. And then we're going to ask you to post some ideas about what you've done, and we're going to also give you feedback. We're going to give you feedback either way, good or bad, or not even good or bad, but either it meets some standards or it doesn't meet some standards, or here's some ideas to improve it. So it's a very kind of collegial process. I put in a link here. I found some things about pain points in this transition, which for a lot of faculty who have not spent much time online, there are several. This is a boilerplate piece on the homepage that gives students support for Beachboard. This CSULB Student Services is a widget that I had created, and I put links into all of the services that students may need over the course of the semester. Some may need none, but it's here and available throughout the course. I also put in accessibility statements because we want to address any possible needs for any students who may need some extra assistance. So that's it. And you can change these news items. I do in my regular courses based on current events, and I teach in gerontology, so seems to be always something going on with these old guys. So that's the home page of the course, so that you'll click on that and it'll take you to this video. In the content area, and we're still building this out, we're going to be adding a number of resources. What we're basing this whole course on is a checklist that deals with 9 different alternative modes for instruction in the online environment. And I think if you get those 9 under your belt, your course will be dramatically improved and easily accessed by your students, more easily accessed. And then also ATS has some really good support items, and I've put these in here now, but this whole area, this resource cafeteria, will get built out quite a bit over the next couple days. So we have a class list, and you all are familiar with that. The Dropbox is typically used for assignments that are between you and your student and not shared with the other students, unlike the discussion board. So in this particular course, it's not necessary to have it. I left the Dropbox item in the nav bar, but for your understanding of that. But this is really mostly for larger assignments and maybe signature assignments and things that you don't want other students to be able to see. They may copy, or it may contain personal information that the student who's posting doesn't want other students to see. Zoom you're familiar with, or you should be. Everybody has a Zoom account, and there's plenty of resource information in Beachboard to help you create a Zoom session. It's pretty simple, actually. I do recommend, if possible, to have 2 screens so you can kind of look at more information at the same time. And the way I design my courses, I put everything in the discussion board. And the reason I do that is that we do a lot of work in the discussion board, and I like to limit the number of times they have to move around and navigate in the course, and keep everything in one place as much as possible. So everything in my discussion board is linked out to other, if I had a quiz, for example, they would click on quiz number 1, and it would take them to that quiz, and then they could come back here. To address questions that come up over the course of the semester, I call mine Ask and Answer. You can call yours, Ask Dr. M or whatever. And these are questions that are pertaining to Beachboard and pertaining to the course specifically. Anything personal, I recommend to my students to drop me an email, and we'll set up a private Zoom session, office visit to take care of whatever that is. So if you do something like this in your course, you need to monitor this, because you'll see posts come in, and you'll go in and be able to answer the questions for them. Sometimes some students are ahead of the curve, and they'll answer the question for you. I always thank them for that and encourage as much communication between the students as possible. And this has, I think we have 9 or 10 modules in here. Getting started with your course. So every module is designed the same way, to look the same way. So this is an overview, and then objectives at the end of this module. Here's what students should be able to do. Here's some resources for them to look at, excuse me, look at to achieve those objectives. And if you have an assessment of any kind, then you would also put that in the same place. So all of this, you notice, is linked. There's a readiness survey that I may modify because of the COVID-19 situation, and find out from my students if they have any particular issues with their computer not being very good, or internet connection not being very good, or they don't have software available, and all of those things I want to know up front, so I can address them and make sure that they have every opportunity for success. So I have them take an online survey. It not only tells me how they're doing or will do, but also tells them what adjustments they may need to make in their lifestyle to be successful. So for Module 1, I'm going to ask everybody to give a screenshot of how you get everybody started in your class. Could be that button, could be a a link to a video. It could be a set of written instructions on the home page, somewhere very prominent, because once they log in on the home page, that's really where you want to have this kind of resource for them. And I'm not going to go through all of it, but communication is vital in the online environment. It's vital in the environment, really, but more so in the online, because you never see these guys. And to any steps you can take to create a community of your class or the learners, or every class seems to have its own personality. So all the steps you can do to do that, to create that environment is a positive experience for everybody. And then there's some resources here. I have a policy on etiquette. Here's a sample communication policy. Here's some best practices with communicating with your students. And here's a little link on how to make super simple videos. It's kind of fun. The guy's very good. You can use these as little or as much as you'd like to, as it is relevant for your course. So in this module, I'm going to ask for a screenshot or other documentation about your policy, your communication policy that you either have or you plan to include. Next one is how to provide access to grades, lead them to tech support, academic and student support. So we've already looked at this one. You can create a widget, or if I can figure out a way to send you a widget, link to it, I'll be happy to do that as well. And for this, just post a screenshot of your student support, just so you can take a screenshot of mine and put it in here, and I can get away with it. But none of you would do that, I know. So, and again, 6 talks more about the community and how we, what we can do. So there's a link to an article on how to humanize the online course. I just recently finished a course teaching for Quality Matters, and one of their assignments was to create a sample introduction of themselves, and one of them was I really liked and asked her to permission to use it, and she was happy to do that. Same with her instructor course tour. So you can get some modeling done here, some ideas, hopefully inspiration. And for this one, just I'd like you to create this is going to be the hard one, slides deep into the course. Short 1-minute video of yourself. And if you need some assistance with that, then there's plenty available, and I'm happy to provide it or get you to the right spot, depending on what you want to use. And then number 7 is connecting the dots between your learning objectives and your content. And then chapter 8 deals with the assessment. So all of this should be in alignment. An example of misalignment would be if you were teaching a creative writing course and your final was a true-false exam. It just would not relate to what you were trying to get the students to learn. Module 9 is just a wrap-up, and there are a few questions here that I'd like you to consider and answer so that we can keep improving this class, adding things to it. You'll have access to this class for as long as you want. When you want to get out of it, you let me know, or you can take yourself. I don't know if you can take yourself out as a student. But if once you're finished with all the information, let me know, and I'm happy to remove you from the course and wish you the best. So that's our course, and we'll stop the recording.